If you've been following this show for a while, you may remember that once upon a time, I was tasked with making the Miata shoot fire. Oh shit. Woo! But the problem then is that we didn't have the necessary fixins for shooting fire the right way, which led to me dumping a bunch of propane out the tailpipe.
Yo, that's gonna be huge.
So today, we're gonna shoot some fire with the Miata. We're gonna get 3 steps set up, which means we're gonna get launch control and flat foot shifting. And through those controls, I should be able to make some fire shoot out the tailpipe, which is very exciting. I'm Zach and this is Money Pit. Let's shoot some fire the real way, baby.
Big thanks to Helix for sponsoring today's video. Listen, everyone knows sleep is the most important meal of the day. That's why I ordered a Helix mattress for the office so I could get some rest during our long shoot weeks. And after the last few months, I decided to get one for my home. I know how overwhelming it can be to shop for a mattress, but Helix is the solution. They know everybody's different and developed a sleep quiz that matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Based on your different sleep positions and firmness preferences, they've got a mattress for everyone. Since I prefer middle of the road firmness and sleep on my tum-tum, this little personal info, I got paired with the Helix Dusk Luxe. And because it's for home, I decided to get a king size. And it's not just finding your perfect mattress that's easy. They also deliver right to your front door in a box. It even comes with a 100-night sleep trial so you can be sure it's the perfect match, or they'll come pick it up themselves and give you a full refund. So what are you waiting for, sleepyheads? Head over to helixsleep.com/donut or click the link in the description to receive up to $200 off your mattress and 2 free pillows. And now, back to the show.
All right, so what even is 3-step or 2-step or 5-step? Well, it just means we've got different rev limits for different things, like launch control is a step. So at launch control, we want our rev limit to be set a lot lower than our ultimate rev limit. This car's ultimate rev limit is currently set at 7,200 RPMs. That's way too high for launching. For launching, we want something like 3,500 RPMs. But if I have to hold the pedal to keep the RPMs at 3,500 RPMs, that's difficult and I'm not that good at it. So it'd be great if there was a way to tell the car to just hold the thing at 3,500 RPMs while I'm trying to launch. Well, perfect, there is a way to do that, and that is built into this step system. So we've got launch control as one of our steps. That'll be one of our rev limits. Then we can move on to our other step or our other rev limit, and that is flat foot shifting. What is that? Well, that's our other step or rev limit that we're gonna set up today, and that's a rev limit for while we're shifting. Now let's talk a little bit about the theory behind why you would flat foot shift. Now in a naturally aspirated car, you really wouldn't unless you were trying to make a bunch of noise. But in a turbo car, flat foot shifting can help us combat turbo lag, one of the biggest enemies of turbo cars. Obviously, to get a turbo to make boost, it takes some time to spool up and actually sling all that power into the engine. And even when you're shifting gears, when you go from 2 to 3, when you get back on power in 3rd gear, it takes a second for the turbo to get back up to speed and make power. But if you never take your foot off the gas and you never close your throttle body, well then your blow-off valve never blows off and releases all that pressure, and boost just keeps cruising through your throttle body, through the engine, and you don't have any of that lag, which is great. But if you just do that in a car like this, well, you keep your foot to the floor during shifts and you're just banging off your ultimate rev limiter, or 7,200 RPMs in this, which is noisy and obnoxious and kind of hard on some stuff. So it would be really nice if I could tell the car to lower that rev limit while I'm flat foot shifting to say like 5,500 RPMs, which wouldn't be so dang loud and wouldn't be that hard on stuff, but it would still keep boost very close at hand for when we get into the next gear and let the clutch out. Well, that's great because we can do that. That's what our 3rd step's gonna be. We're gonna set a flat foot shifting rev limit at about 5,500 RPMs so that boost comes on quicker as we move through the gears, which will make our overall acceleration happen quicker. So the car should actually get a lot quicker today without changing any of the power that it's making. That's pretty cool. Now, whenever we talk about this kind of stuff, we obviously got to talk about anti-lag. Now, launch control will help us have boost on demand. And through the settings, we should be able to tweak it so that we have the best boost on demand at launch possible, which is very cool. That helps us battle turbo lag. And with flat foot shifting, like we just talked about, keeping our foot on the gas through shifting keeps turbo lag from really being that terrible to us. So you might think, well, that's anti-lag, right? Kind of. I mean, it is anti-lag, right? It's helping us battle lag, but it's not quite anti-lag. You see, anti-lag pretty much invariably will have a method for delivering extra air to the exhaust. So if you're getting that extra air through the engine, often that means you have a throttle body that you can tell to hang open when you have anti-lag engaged. Or you can bypass the engine altogether with a series of bypass pipes that deliver fresh air right into the exhaust in front of the turbo to help combustion happen in your exhaust manifold and help keep your turbo spooled, thusly anti-lagging the turbo. But to add a system to allow that extra air to get to the turbo even when you're off throttle is a bit of extra work, and it's really not something that I need. So we're not gonna do a true like rally style, anti-lag style system, but I am going to combat lag in 2 spots, which are pretty important. Off the line and through shifts. So while this isn't quite anti-lag, it is against lag, if that makes sense. I hope it does. Yeah, cool. All right, so anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about what it's actually gonna take to get these things set up on the Miata. Now, you already know that we have a standalone ECU, our Mega Squirt, so that really gives us the majority of the tools that we need. It is able to do launch control, flat foot shifting. So the only thing that we need to do is wire a switch to allow us to engage launch control and flat foot shifting and things like that. What we're gonna do is use an existing switch on the Miata. The Miata has 2 clutch switches. One at the bottom of the travel that lets you start the car once it's pushed all the way in. And there's one switch at the top of the pedal that disengages as soon as you touch the clutch pedal. And that'll shut off cruise control as soon as it sees you going for the clutch. So that's the switch we're gonna use. So the first thing I'm gonna do, as you might expect, is take out the passenger seat. This will give us access to our aftermarket ECU and all of our wiring and our options plug. Checking to make sure that the brown with white wire that comes out of this clutch switch is the same one that goes over to the ECU, and it is. That's great news. So now we just need to do the actual wiring over there, which should be pretty simple. We're just gonna splice from one wire to another. Okay, so I've got my little jumper cable that's gonna go from the options plug on the back of the Mega Squirt, and then we're gonna splice this end into our clutch signal wire that comes from our clutch switch. But this is gonna go here. I'm just gonna feed our clutch wire into this little channel. Okay, so that is our clutch switch spliced into our Mega Squirt ECU, so we can use that to activate our launch control and our flat foot shifting. Spectacular. Now all we have to do is get in the computer and do a little hacking. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is go into the Mega Squirt. I'll go to Advanced Engine. We're gonna come down to Launch, 2-step, 3-step, Trans Brake. So I've got it turned on to launch, clutch in. 2,000 RPMs of fury. Well, I was just gonna see if we could maybe shoot just a little bit of fire. I mean, I know we're inside and my car's right there, but you know, 3,000 RPMs, -5 degrees of timing, that might make a little fire, right?
Scared the shit out of me. Fire? No, hang on.
I wish they made, you know, those Airwick plugins or the Glade plugins. I wish they made ones that smell like this. Well, hey, the Miata actually shoots fire, and not the ghetto way. So that's cool. I'm sure the neighbors aren't too happy, so I'm probably gonna stop doing that for a minute, but that's awesome, right? So it's also not for no reason. It's to help us get off the line quickly. So let's go do that. And we have made it to our super secret undisclosed testing facility to do some launch control testing on the Miata. First off, we have 2 cones set up 60 feet apart from each other. And Christina's down at the finish line with a stopwatch, so she's gonna be recording times. The goal is to see how quickly I can cross these cones. First, I'm gonna launch the car just by myself. With my brain and my feet, we'll see how quickly I can get across the cones. And then we'll come back and turn on launch control, and we'll go through all the settings and talk about them, and then we'll launch this thing a few more times and see how much we can improve our 60-foot times. Let's do it. All right, not bad. Not that 2.2 seconds really means much to me by itself, but hopefully we can improve on that. So we'll do a couple more so we can kind of establish an average, and then we'll turn on traction control. Okay, so here's our current launch times with just me operating the pedals. They're a little bit all over the place, but that's because it's tough to be consistent to launch on a car, you know? When I was just launching right there, I was doing about 3,500 RPMs, and that felt pretty good. Now we're gonna set our launch rev limit. Let's do some launch control launches, 3,000 RPMs, and see what we get, see if our times improve.
That was a really accurate click and a very good launch, so maybe this thing is worth it. We'll see.
I think I'm starting to get things dialed in. I'm tweaking how much timing it pulls and for how long it pulls it after I launch. And so there's definitely some time to be gained there. I'm not gonna go too hard right now. It's in a good ballpark. So I think it's probably time that we pull the timing and shoot some fire. Okay, so we are effectively shooting fire. Very cool. Now, that's not for no reason. What I'm hoping is that, you know, burning all that gas in the exhaust will help to get my turbo closer to spooling up and making boost for when we launch off the line. So maybe those fireballs will make me a little quicker through these cones. Well, I'm not convinced, but I'm ready to find out. .215, well, so not much change, but it did sound cooler. And you know what? Since we've turned on launch control, sure, we didn't shave off a bunch of time, but we have been incredibly consistent. And that, when you're racing, is really important. So we'll do one last one, see what kind of time I run there, and maybe we'll see about doing some flat foot shifting. Hey, it felt quick, 209. Boy, that's fast. That's the fastest 60 feet I've ever seen. We're getting off the line quicker and we're gonna be getting through shifts quicker. I think it's time to go to a real drag strip with a real timing setup and see what we actually can do. But now that I ran a 209, hell yeah, let's do a little flat foot shifting. This parking lot is a little bit small, so it's not like we're gonna get a full 1-2 pull in here, but we've got enough distance to confirm that flat foot shifting is working and show you what it does. So I'm gonna turn it on real quick. It's very easy. It's in the same menu as launch control. All right, so with flat shifting on, so then we can set our flat foot shifting rev limit. So when I go to shift and I've got my foot hard on the gas pedal, we can choose what RPM it goes to in between shifts. It's set at 4,500 right now, and honestly, I'm just gonna leave it right there. So all I gotta do is burn those settings to the car, and then we're ready to go. So let's get a little 1-2 pull across here, and you'll see that my foot is gonna stay hard down on the gas even when I go to shift to second gear, and we should hang immediately at 4,500 RPMs during that shift. So maybe I'll shift a little bit slowly so we can really see that. I'm also gonna turn my headlights on now. Pop up, up and down. All right, let's go. Ooh, launch control, because why not? Oh, I didn't even think I got in second. I double clutched it there. Double clutching, not granny shifting, double tripping. Okay, well it worked. I didn't think I made second, so I hesitated and hit the clutch again to try to pull it in. I was already in second, but it seemed to work just great. It held at 4,500 between shifts, and now I'm gonna do it again, one more time, where I actually do it decent. Okay. Pretty cool. That is gonna make shifts so much quicker when you're trying to actually haul some ass. So I really think between launch control and our flat foot shifting, this thing's gonna be pretty quick in a straight line race type scenario. So I really think it's time to take this thing to the drag strip and see what it'll run in the quarter mile and like a legitimate 60 foot and all that other stuff. Or maybe we'll go to an 1/8 mile, I don't know. But give us some guesses. What do you think our 1/8 mile time would be, our quarter mile time? And we'll see who's right. I'm gonna guess, ooh, I'd love to be in the 12s. I'm gonna guess a 13.2, total guess. But yeah, I think we gotta do that soon. We gotta hit the drag strip, use our launch control, and use our flat foot shifting to put down some serious times. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned a thing or two. I hope you had fun watching us shoot some fireballs. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and you can follow me on Instagram at ZachJob and follow Donut while you're there at Donut Media. And I'll see you guys next Wednesday. And do one more launch. Wow, that's great. That really is great.